Coca-Cola.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my caffeinated friends. Jojo up top. How are you doing, Jojo?
Love and life. How about you?
I'm pretty good. Jonathan, how are you doing today?
Hi. I'm good, thanks.
Hello. Good. That's it. So we're here to talk about Survivor episode 11. But if this is your first time here, well, welcome. We're happy to have you. Join us in the chat, but also make sure you subscribe to be part of our party. Do you know what comes before part B?
Party.
Party!
We're hyped. We're hyped.
Oh, yes, we are hyped. It's because, you know what? I'm so happy that I went into this episode really expecting to hate it, and I didn't completely hate the episode. You know what I mean? I thought it was a pretty decent episode. There was a lot of eye roll Jeff moments, in my opinion. It's like he needs to take a step back a little bit, but I'm so happy that the twist didn't ruin the game of somebody, and it was an okay episode. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm like you. I thought I was gonna hate this twist. I thought this is gonna be a waste of an episode. We're just gonna
Michelle! Hey, Jojo, why don't you ask Michelle right now?
Michelle, I was actually talking about you earlier today, and I was wondering if you wanted to, because I know Jonathan won't.
Probably not. I don't even know what it is, but probably
you're not going to want to do it. You're not going to want to do the Survivor game, the live one, next summer.
So Michelle,
and I want Michelle to be my partner.
About I think I sent you, the form to apply to potentially be on that live Survivor that I played their season 1. So they will be doing their season 4, I believe. They've definitely amped up their production value. I'm sure they've had a lot of us learn from some things, had things shift, change, and grow. So I thought it was an awesome experience as its inaugural.
Michelle and Jojo as a team doing it together. Oh my God, that's that hits. You know what I mean?
It's so good. Do we get to eat and smoke weed though? You don't get to eat crazy amount of food unless you're the winning tribe, but the losing tribe kind of was Mr. Noodles and just kind of bare bone foods. But if you get voted out, you can eat whatever you want and just hang out and watch the different challenges. But if you're on the winning tribe, you were able to have I don't know, hot dogs and burgers. But the losing tribe has
I can't smuggle some beef jerky in. I mean,
you can do whatever you want. Yeah. I'm not a great swimmer queen. The only time I needed to swim, I needed to tread water, and that was for a battle back competition. And the other time, there was a little bit of canoeing stuff where you had to canoe around a buoy type thing, but you can choose someone on your team to be able to do that.
That's me.
Hi, Dolores. Oh, best looking trio. Yes, in the biz on my screen. Thank you, Dolores, for being here. So, Michelle, just think about it. Know that somebody wants to be your partner. It's Survivor, so you don't need to be the best physical competitor to do well in the game. I'm sure that you'd be able to bribe people with weed and your company to stay in the game. So, putting that out there, you have 6 months to figure it out. So we're talking about do or die. Jonathan, how did you feel about this episode?
Okay. When the tribal council starts halfway through the episode, I was I'm not going to like this. I'm not going to like this right now.
Oh, but I had a different thought.
No, I thought I was I don't tune in for half the show to be tribal council. But I was proven wrong. I thought that it moved along nicely. A lot happened, like Jojo said. It was, and like you said, it wasn't ruined by the twist. And I do think that's because of the outcome of it. I mean, I think if it went the other way, we would be singing a different tune. But I actually didn't think it dragged on too much or anything like that. I think there was a lot of important things that came up at Tribal, and that was said, which was nice to see. So I almost wish they made it an hour and a half, though, because I could have used more of other stuff that was happening kind of on the beach. We just didn't see anything really, I feel like. And the challenge happened like that, too. So
Totally. I totally hear that. My thoughts when it was half an hour still left or 25 minutes left when tribal council was starting, I was like, thank God. Spoiler alert, just Sean is going to be staying in the game because there's no way that they're going to just do this twist. It's going to be over. So it's going to be a revote for sure. And there's going to be a real tribal council that ends up happening. So I was like, thankful for that.
It gave it away.
Though they were talking so much during tribal that I was like, wait a minute, are we not going to get to this do or die for another like 15, 20? I kept looking at my phone to see the time, to check in.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I mean, Deshaun might be okay. He might, okay, now he's fine. Cool.
I think there was like 9 minutes left. And I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, we still have time to vote, but I don't know. We've been talking for a while. So yeah.
But I definitely knew, though, with them having the tribal council be that friggin' long, that there's no way that he was going to be going home. Like, that just would have been terrible. And people would have been in an uproar. The other thing, too, that I didn't hate about this particular twist is that the players knew about it in advance and got to choose whether or not they wanted to participate. So that is also how I can get behind twists, is when people can choose if the cons, the pros and cons of it are for your benefit or for your, like, what, you can weigh it out. You can use your own strategy to see whether or not it's worth it for you to participate. And Deshaun, it was worth it for him to participate, especially with the outcome, because he was the person that was going to be on the chopping block that everybody wanted out, because he was called a snake by Shan going out. So at the beginning of the episode, Liana is pissed. How did you guys, Jonathan, you are probably the biggest supporter of Liana here. How did you feel about how she acted and reacted to Shan's vote out?
Me? Yeah, I think she was just really
emotional.
Jonathan,
I meant Jojo, but whatever.
I was like, am I a big fan
of
her?
I was like, oh, I guess. I
said Jonathan, I meant Jojo, and I was looking at Jojo, but doesn't matter. You can answer as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be quick because it was, I just thought that she was playing emotional like she has been. So I wasn't surprised by it. And I just want her to like take a moment and play the game with some strategy more than just kind of off of your feelings about everything. And I think that really kind of just was her whole game the last several rounds. So I wasn't surprised.
And Jojo, Liana's biggest supporter here.
I mean, I really wanted to see Shan and Liana make it to the end. Obviously, after last week, I knew that wasn't going to happen. But everything Liana said to those boys was true. They just gave a majority to another four other players. And it did put the three of them in a worse case. Yeah, Liana for sure at the bottom, but it didn't bode well for all three of them.
I agree, but I definitely feel as though she's the one was going to be losing out the most, you know what I mean? By the fact that she doesn't have a good relationship with Xander. She wrote down Erica's name. And so I get it being upset about it, but I think that she should have been like apologizing to the people that now had the majority instead of like still yelling at the two people that like went with that majority. I just thought her tact was a little bit off. Not that she should be upset. I'd be pissed if it were me too, but I think I would do it not in front of people. I probably would have been a little bit more calmer, have a little more tact about it, and maybe come from a compassionate point, being like, man, I really wish that you didn't do that, not yelling at them and telling them that they're stupid for the decision that they made for their particular game, you know? So her tact was a little bit off.
That's your opportunity to really like infiltrate instead of drawing the line even further in the sand, just being like, okay, well, now I need to readjust and see how I could get in with Heather, get in with Eric, like something like with someone on that other side. And I just didn't see that happen at all. But I mean, who knows?
So what did you think about, him saying that it was Ricard's plan? I was like, oh man, like Ricard might get some heat here. Who were you getting maybe nervous for at this point?
Everyone, except Heather. Actually, I was never worried for Xander either.
Xander also seems to be feeling as though he's the captain of the ship. Like he is like, I've moved from the bottom to the top. Do you agree with this sentiment? Like, do you think that Xander has a shot at winning?
At winning, no, but I think I will say this. I predict Xander will be in the final 3.
I
can see Xander and Erica being in final 3. Easy. Yeah. I think for whatever reason, and we don't need to know the reason, but people just haven't touched Xander. So it's like, as long as that keeps happening, you know.
So Dazan says, I think Ricard or Erica might win. I can see both.
Do you watch Erica's TikTok at all?
I haven't seen it, no.
She's been making some subtle little cocky little, like, maybe I should buy this, maybe like little kind of little hints that maybe
she does
well and might have a payday that she went home to. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like a red herring, but at the same time, it's really subtle and people are looking into it and paying attention to her little TikToks there.
So Dazan says that Deshaun and Danny are at the bottom now. Yes and no. Well, you know what? I think that out of the two of them, whoever doesn't win immunity will probably be an easy target, unless Danny and Deshaun are able to go to Heather and go. Well, they just voted out friggin'.
But Erica was on the fence.
Say
Erica was on the fence, right? Like with this vote this week. So, you know, she, I think, is targeting who she thinks is in her way of getting to the end and who's the most dangerous. So whatever she thinks next week, if she thinks Ricard's
so it might be Ricard. It might be Ricard then that goes. So yeah, probably Ricard, Danny, or Deshaun will be out next. I would assume.
I would assume one of Deshaun, Danny, then Ricard, then the remainder of Deshaun, Dan. Or
the only reason why I'm thinking Ricard is because Danny and Deshaun might still go for him, and they might be able to bring in Erica at that point, right?
Yeah, it's fair.
And then maybe unless, I don't know what Xander
is anyone seeing them as like a duo though? Like, because they've kind of been a duo from the beginning. So I wonder if people are having that realization that at the final 6 they need to be split up.
Hi, Alex. So I know it's off topic. Are you doing an All-Stars 2 watch party again? Yes, I am. So at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, I will go live and air episode. I guess it's 4, right? Already?
4.
No.
4.
Holy.
Yeah.
It's like halfway done. Wow. So yes, please join me there in a couple hours.
Which will be great.
On Twitch. I know. I mean, I still post it here and then I erase it.
Jelly.
Hi, Jelly. Jelly, are you okay? Are you okay that Liana's gone?
I thought about Jelly last night.
I did too.
I was sitting there, I'm like, wonder how Jelly Donuts is doing.
Who was I talking to? Oh, wait, no, when I was talking to Sarah on Monday, I was like, oh, I don't know about Jelly Donut's going to be okay. Because, yeah, I gave Liana 1. Oh, my God. Sorry, Jelly Donut. Yes.
I laughed. Oh.
I also cannot take Jeff Probst's obsession with advantages. He's lost the plot. He needs to step back and not have so many hands in the Survivor. I don't know what to call it. Basket.
Also, is Erica flirting with Jeff? I think they're friends. Like they're getting friendly. Like, good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Erica.
Teacher's
good morning,
pet.
Heather. 100 hundo.
But
they're friends.
It's just, no, I think it's teacher's pet. I think it's just like, oh my God, I want Jeff to address me and love me at Tribal and have moments with Jeff where he's like, Erica, you caused all this. Oh my God, I know. I think it's just for screen time. I don't like it though.
Feeling her oats a little bit, you know?
Love it. Yeah.
I mean, I could totally see them try to get her out though. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm happy that I don't actually know what's going to happen. It's pretty wide open. I
don't see Heather turning on Erica.
No, that won't happen.
I don't see Deshaun
Erica could
coming
turn
together
on Xander. Erica could turn on Xander because Xander is too powerful now. He's going to make it to the final 3. He has an idol and he has the extra vote. They actually have to vote him out this next episode, or they have to he's getting to the finale episode for sure, and he might have the opportunity to make fire. So they actually have to take their shots at Xander now.
is upcoming the last time he can use his idol? Because
I
I
think
think
it's final
he used
five.
he used his vote this
Oh, that's
round,
true. Extra vote this week. That's true.
but I
Oh, and
wonder
that's
about
because
the
he
idol.
didn't trust Erica. So I wonder if that's going to cause some dissension.
Yeah.
Right? Because Erica was kind of going back and forth as to whether or not she wanted to be the swing vote, you know?
But it wasn't against Xander, it was against Ricard. So at the same time, it's like everyone's taking shots around me. Perfect.
Oh, I mean, a guy's going next episode. Like
Let's
100%.
hope.
100%. I think Erica and I think Heather are completely safe. At least one more round, at least.
I can't believe all the women though are sitting on the damn jury. Like they had that huge majority, and I thought that it was so silly of Danny to be saying to Evie, like, "Oh, look at you trying to get out all the guys," and like we still will most likely have a final 2 out of the 3 in the final 3 will be male, most likely. We definitely won't have both Heather and Erica. I don't think they'll both be in the final 2.
I do.
They could be. I mean,
The reason why I don't is that Deshawn and Danny already have their eyes on her, right? So I just don't see her being able to win out past them where their numbers won't start growing. You know what I mean? Like I think that they'll be able to win more than she will, most likely, and that they'll probably beat her at fire. And so I just don't see her being able to for sure get past 4.
Erica's won more immunities than Deshawn, though, hasn't she? She's won 1. Danny's won 1.
Individual? What'd she win?
Yeah. She won the double tribal at final 8 or final 9.
Yeah.
9-10.
What was
That
it?
they had to stand on the thing, and she went to Shan
Oh,
afterwards.
the half. Oh,
Like,
yeah. I don't know if I really count that. Deshawn did last longer than her.
Only time in his life he did.
But
Ooh.
but she didn't have to stay up because like they were staying up for food. So who knows? But I just don't know if she'll be able to beat out all those guys on all those things. Like Deshawn, Ricard, Xander, definitely.
Sophie did it. Sophie definitely did it.
All right, you can have. I know you want a woman to win. I just don't feel like it's happening.
But I mean,
I'm sorry,
Jojo.
Jojo.
You have Xander and Ricard on one end. You have Deshawn and Danny on the other. And I just see the women in the middle right now. And like, why aren't you not taking out one of those, like, you know, someone who has a great resume, Ricard, someone who has an idol, Xander. You have 2 other people who've been like calling a lot of shots and have kind of been in this thing together in alliance, and the last 2 of that alliance on the other end. I mean, I just don't see how those 2 groups of guys would not use the women and try to grab them and go against each other.
It's just, but I agree. I totally agree. But if Danny is hyper aware of women like being in the game, he'll also be hyper aware of women being in the jury, and it's assuming that the women will all vote for another woman that was sitting in the final 2. So I wouldn't imagine that he would take that risk. Just because
if it's up to him.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that like that's something that's probably going to become part of the conversation. Guys can rally guys up so easy, being like, let's all the guys all stick together. It's women on the jury. They're going to vote for other women. Let's stick together. Like easily can be convinced by that. So I can see it going either way. Absolutely. If I were playing, I'd obviously want to utilize the women and take out the 2 guys on the other side. Absolutely. But I just feel like the guys are going to want to stick together.
I don't know. I think they're 2.
Or maybe original Lubu will come together, and that would be 2 guys, 2 girls.
I think Ricard knows his resume, and I think Ricard's like, if I make it to the end, I have it. Like in this moment right now, so
he would have it. He would,
yeah, for sure.
But I feel like Deshawn and Danny would be more nervous about sitting beside Erica, because I feel like the women in the jury, this jury would pick Erica over them because they're pissed.
I love this discussion because there are so many possibilities. There's like, who knows who's going to make it to the end? Who knows who's going to win? There are so many different scenarios that could actually happen, and they all have like a good chance of happening. So it's kind of a good season for that, which is great. The cast is phenomenal this season.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm so annoyed that all the twists. I'm like, I just want to see them play because like they're doing a good job and they're so interesting. So Michelle says Liana also went and told Shan there were card plans, so she also put herself in this situation. In my opinion, absolutely, Liana did put this into motion. I understand that she had a really strong connection with Shan, that she wanted to let her know what the two guys were doing. But if she didn't want to cause some dissension within the camp out, she should have maybe kept that to herself and maybe used it in a different way, told Shan in a different way or whatnot, because she was the one that essentially broke up the camp out because she told that information. Then Shan immediately wanted to target Deshawn now. And so would she have been equally as mad at Shan for targeting Deshawn and Deshawn going home? You know what I mean? No, she wouldn't. There's no way she would have.
Right. Nope.
What else do we have going on here? I will always stand Queen Liana. She'll always be my winner. Oh, maybe
She'll win the challenge.
Redemption Island. So Miss Heather has been saying some rather insensitive things on the island, according to Shan. Yes, I did hear that. Was it last week? I heard that here. I would like to know more about that because at the tribal council, I think this is going to be a little bit more of just a discussion, the whole podcast, because it didn't really have that much Survivor elements to it. Obviously, we had the challenge. In the challenge, I'll just explain it. They are told about the do or die dilemma. And so if you're going to play this immunity challenge, which is one that is another throwback, they've done this one before where they have the different cylinders that they had to hold. First, they hold with 2 and 1, so 3 cylinders, and they hold a ball on the top, and then they keep on adding 2 cylinders, 2 cylinders, 2 cylinders. So challenging. But Jeff says the first person that drops their ball and is out of the challenge will have to face a do or die twist. And out of the other people that choose to play, there will be an immunity winner, but you can choose to sit out. That means you have no shot at immunity. And if the person that that assumes the do or die twist loses and goes out, then there's no tribal councils. But if they win, they stay in the game and there will be a tribal council. So before we get into like all the tribal council stuff, what did you guys think of that twist when you heard Jeff explain it? Did you understand it?
So worried for Danny. I was just like so consumed with worry for Danny because he's my last, draft pick. But I was not happy because I don't like these kinds of things, as you know. And I just felt like it was a game that's like not Survivor. I know it's new and different and blah blah blah. I just didn't think it was great. I mean, yes, they do get to pick. Yes, they get to decide, but they're also put in a situation because if you don't play and you're at the bottom, then you're kind of forced to play and being put in that situation that Deshawn was in. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
Too extreme. If it was maybe you get a vote at tribal council, I would have had less of an issue with that. Maybe more people would have played for immunity if that was the case. But it's just such an extreme punishment. And the whole like having to do or die, it was when Jeff started explaining it, I'm like, I'd be nervous as a castaway thinking like, what do you mean you're putting me in a deadly situation?
I know. It's like, what do you mean by that? Like, do or die in this game. Yes. I thought it was going to be another die, that they weren't going to use. They're going to give them a scroll instead. So it's do or die. Actually, it's 3 boxes. It's like do or die twice.
That's another thing. The fact that it was 3 boxes. I'm like, I thought it was 50-50 shot. Like,
yeah. Why did we think it was 50-50 and then it was not?
Do or die.
Yeah.
50-50.
Because ultimately it was. Ultimately, it was.
Well, I actually researched this.
You removed one of the
paradox.
boxes.
So
and
within
whatever you picked, you removed it.
With this problem, it is the Monty Hall. I can't remember Monty something problem. Monty Hall. Okay, so basically, it actually ends up being 66%. Like that, odds that you could choose the right one, and in most cases you are supposed to actually switch. So with that particular problem, it starts off, obviously you're going to have 1/3, so 33% shot of picking the right spot. So you pick your spot, then Jeff, with knowing where, like, he will know where the correct ball is or whatever that he was looking for, fire. He'll choose one of the two other boxes that were going to be empty, which means that the box that you didn't choose and the box that you're being revealed will mean that you should choose the other box, because that means that you would have dominated 2/3 of the understanding of what's in the box, which is more likely that you will choose the correct one. So in most cases, you're actually supposed to switch, but he happened to be on the right box, but you're supposed to switch. Like, that's like the rule of what's it called? Deal or no, let's make a deal. They do that all the time. Like, do you want sort of showcase number 1 or 2 or 3? And then it's like,
I
okay,
failed
we'll give
stats,
you this, and there's a lion.
said I failed stats. So I mean, at the end of the day, I understand what you're getting at, because it's like you work within the percentages, and it's like if you kind of take it all in as one. But I mean, at the end of the day, he looked at 2 boxes and had a choice of one or the other. And yeah, it was like crappy. Like, I think with Jojo, like, if it was a competition for an advantage towards something, or it hinders you in some way, or I don't know, or it's like a dire predicament that you need to get yourself out of, I can get behind that more. But when it's like, see ya, it's just like, how is this part of the game? How is that outwitting, outplaying, outlasting by simply just making a decision by picking randomly under boxes? There's no skill set to it. It's pure luck, which he mentioned. And I don't know. I've been really upset for Deshaun if it didn't go his way. I'd be really
Absolutely. It would have been very heartbreaking, because yes, they're being adaptable and malleable and they're going with the flow with this new era, but it's also like, I signed up to play Survivor. That's the game that I kind of was like bracing myself for. To go out on like a coin flip would have been devastating for someone that he made up audition many times. This is his first opportunity to go and play this game that he's probably been obsessed with, like, and then gets taken out by this bad twist, or like not the worst twist.
He's been playing from day one. Like, I think he's a good player, and he's had a lot of strategy there, and I think he has a chance of winning. And and so to be taken out like that is just crazy. I mean, no.
I would have been upset. I mean, yeah, I probably would have hated this episode if that were how things went down. I'd been like, fuck this show, it sucks.
Did it not lead to all of us being like, oh yes, oh my god, okay, thank you, like, you know what I mean? Like,
it led us to like, okay, they didn't ruin this entire season. Whew. Like, that's the relief, that they didn't ruin the show.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been pissed if he didn't win.
There was a moment that Liana literally did this. She was like, oh, and it's just gonna be like, it's gonna live in my mind forever. And like, oh.
I'll send you the meme.
Yes, I need it. Oops.
Oh, see, Jelly Jonat's with us here. I auditioned for Survivor to use my personal skill sets, not a 50-50 coin. Absolutely. 50-50 coin, or even this Monty Hall twist or paradox. Like, it's not, let's make a deal. That's not the show what we're watching.
But I will say luck is a huge factor on Survivor, and that
got
is
lucky.
Yeah.
He got lucky. For sure.
And people can argue that, if you're in a great social position, that then you could, ultimately not have played and it wouldn't have mattered and whatever. I understand that argument as well. But when you're down to the final 7, as they're down to, a lot of that is too big for a final 7. Like, I just think that having that a little earlier on, where you can like hide behind certain things, is much more of a fair situation than like doing it at final 7, final 6. Like, everything's exposed, so you don't have the luxury of just relying on your social game.
I agree, Jelly Jonah. Jelly Jonah would be fuming if they were out there. Not only the twist itself, but also would be forced to sit while he did it. I'd be like, can we gather around him? I would want to be like, what's going on here? Yeah, I would have. It's this new era. I wonder what 42 is going to be like. Think it's going to be the exact same format, or are they just going to try a bunch of other terrible twists out and then maybe not use any of them for 43?
I think they'll do it again, and I think someone will probably go home because of it.
Yeah, probably. So Jonathan, I'm actually speaking to you, Jonathan. Were you starting to notice or like get nervous, sorry, when Danny was having all that personal stories and talking about his father and how he was crying and like realizing that he never forgave his father for passing away when he was 8 years old and it was in a car accident? Were you getting nervous? Yes.
Couple things, yes and no, because I was like, okay, well, why are they doing this now? Because it's the day. You couldn't have done it earlier because it wouldn't have been the day that it happened. So it was an emotional story, which they like. Um, that happened the day that it was happening. So I was like up in the air about it, but then I saw the challenge. I'm like, Danny doesn't win anything. I'm like, oh Lord. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna be first out. I'm like, this is not happening. Oh, and then I was really concerned for Danny, especially with that edit. It also makes me worried for him for next episode anyway. But yeah.
I think it also will how with the outcome, I feel like it makes him look like even more of the winner, to be honest. Like, we have the first time we're seeing him shifting the way he's playing, and we see in the scenes from the next episode, I believe our card says Danny's different, he's acting different, he's playing differently, or something like that. So maybe him having a reason to play for his father may have changed the way he plays this game. And so we might see
Or they're
something
trying to get
different.
him out. Yeah. I mean, like, I see Danny and I'm like, I don't see much of a player. Like the strategy is very straightforward. And love him to death. He's my last person on my draft. I think he's a super nice person. And I like the game that he's playing, but at the same time, I would like to see some more moves from him so that he can like build that resume. And maybe he does that. Maybe he does twist it, change it up. I hope that kind of preview wasn't about why they're trying to get him out. You know what I mean? For next week instead of, uh, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well,
I'm nervous.
Deshaun does say like doesn't include him in his final three, so we'll see. So Doris says, "Was it me or was it slightly insensitive of the term die being used so often, especially by Jeff, considering Daddy was trying to honor his father's memory, and you just had died on that particular date?" Yes, it was. The word we kind of talked about it a little bit already, but it just was a little bit unsettling using that word over and over again. It just kind of was like it's just so negative. So maybe
I
they'll
mean,
rephrase it.
it's not like this is going to sound cold, but having someone who's lost parental figures in their life who raised them, I don't put much into death dates for myself, and I don't expect other people to on my behalf. And it's also like mine was also like 22 years ago now, so it's interesting that it was brought up in a way that was so heavy on him still, and I felt bad for Danny because I'm like, I don't know if he's ever processed this properly, because it just seems to weigh so much on him, and that he avoids it every year, is what he had said. So, yeah, I don't know. I was like, because 25 years ago, whatever, is a long time.
But he
And
hasn't dealt with it until
yeah,
now, it seems. So I do. Maybe Jeff didn't know until like he sees the footage after about the maybe no he would know that would be something that I would think that producers or camera people would be like, hey, like just so you know this is going down. But who knows how their production works. One thing that annoyed me about our guy Jeff. So what before the immunity challenge, when he's talking to the cameras and being like, "This, what did he say? This dangerous twist." I'm just like, nobody cares about the dangerous twist, Jeff. Like, so annoying. Like, I want to see the danger of people playing the game. I don't want a twist to be the danger. Like, the twist is Jeff Probst is the monster.
Yes.
He's the monster.
I want the danger to be like me getting an infection and a cut on my thigh. That's what I want my danger to be. My life-threatening danger, not game decisions.
So what would you
happened
do?
to the game within the game, though? By the
Oh,
way,
did you see it? It's so
no,
ugly.
I'm like, I've been missing them the last like 3 episodes, or do they even do it anymore? I'm like, what happened to this?
They did do it this one. Hold on, I'll show you it.
When was this one?
I can't remember
Remember?
right now. I have
totally
to look.
totally missed it.
I think it was on the wall, maybe when they were coming in for
Didn't
the
think of
immunity.
what that is.
I couldn't tell what it was at all. I don't know what it is.
What is that? Like a what is that? Map? A rock?
cave?
Or person yelling, drinking? Some person doing something.
Yawning? Sleeping?
Yelling? Oh, it's a yawn. I think it's a yawn.
Here, send it to me on my phone or on chat.
Do it doesn't. I don't know what it is. Jelly donut. What does it mean? I don't know what it is.
I want to figure it out. I need to see it.
Oh, you want to figure it out? Okay, I'm sending
Yeah.
it to the group.
Oh, so that's like a watermill.
Oh, windmill? No, windmill?
Like it's a watermill. Like a
Yawn,
mill.
doll, muscle,
$1 million,
steak.
million.
Million. Oh my god, you're so embarrassing. Dollars, arms, larms, mistake. Yeah, $1 million mistake. It's so stupid.
Mistake. Yes.
Missed. $1 million missed steak.
God, if only they could...
Million doll arm mistake.
I love it.
That was actually fun, but
Yeah.
it's still stupid though. He's not good at making these. Their creative team is actually terrible at them. There's definitely some good ones.
Yeah.
Shelly Dodo, oh my god, I was like, Jeff, get out of my face. Yes, me too. You nailed it. The whole monster production has been hyping up is really Jeff in reality. Imagine like you peel it away, like the man behind the curtain, the monster is Jeff. But it's Jeff.
He's been looking very different this season. So
yeah, like you just want to be like, like and then underneath it'd be like the monster.
The guy from Amazing Race. Phil, what's his face?
Coogan?
I joke. RuPaul's like, I'm trying to get the Emmy again. Best host.
Oh my god, imagine though underneath he was like an alien, like underneath his mask, Jeff is the monster. That it turns into like a horror. The last episode is like a horror, then running away from Jeff.
Erica would be the final girl, for sure.
No, Heather, blondes.
Oh, yuck. I'm like over her now. That as soon as Shan said she was ignorant, I'm like, I'm gonna step away from Heather. There's a reason they're not showing her.
Let's just like before we step away from Heather, should we step towards Heather right now and just take a little look here at this? Just while I have it here. Just take a little look-see to see that I still have all three of my players. And I will just get rid of Liana here. You guys all have one. So Ron
all
has
three,
a card. Go ahead.
All three who may have just formed a final three alliance in next week's preview.
Do I have the winner though? I don't know. I still think it could be Deshaun. The Deshaun, I think I told you guys, but he was the 3 of cups that I got for him. So that means like final 3 to me, celebration. So it is a decent card it's not necessarily a winning card, but it's a good card. Danny got the 6 of Wands, which is a card that's about celebration and putting somebody on a pedestal and acclaim. Heather, I don't remember what her card was. I think it was the Fool reversed. So that's usually like naivety and like not great. And Xander got the Star, which is like after everything goes to shits, like the light at the end of the tunnel. Ricard, I don't remember what Ricard got. I think he got a good card too, or a decent card.
Chantel's like the Blake of The Voice. Like he always has like 3 people in the finals, and everyone else is like one person, or they're just not in it.
Holding on.
Yeah.
No, that was Jojo last time though.
We'll watch like Xander, Erica, and Deshaun go one after the other.
I can see that very easily.
Can you imagine the final 3: Ricard, Heather, and Danny? Like.
Not Heather in that trio, but I could see Ricard and Danny get
weird. That'd be a weird final 3, right?
I personally think that. Okay, I watched this video on YouTube the other day, and it was 11 minutes of people not keeping Erica's name out of their mouths. That's what it was called. And there was a line that Deshaun had to say that is convincing me that Erica takes him out.
Oh,
interesting.
I'm like, why
Well,
else would he talk about it in this confessional, and for them to air it during that episode really random? I think that's the foreshadowing.
And I don't want
mm,
Deshaun to go, but like for Danny purposes, I feel like if they go after Deshaun next, then Danny's actually probably safe for at least a round
Yeah.
or something. Because I think they would that they would no longer worry about him as much, and they'd be worried about like a Ricard, Erica, or Xander situation. So I don't know.
they need to take out Xander, but Xander's going to use his idol. So, but they need to try to take out Xander. Like
I
that's what
would
needs
vote
to
for
happen.
Xander at the end. If he made it to the end, that would be the easiest vote for me as a winner. I'd be like, you all knew it. He had this thing. He was supposed to go week after week many times, and he made it right to the end. You get my vote. So they need to get rid of him.
So this particular tribal, I do feel that Liana spoke really well about what it means to be a Black woman playing this game. Deshaun really, I think, spoke well about what his conflict was as a Black man playing this game and being conflicted with playing the game and then standing up for the social cause of it all. Shan didn't seem to budge on her disgruntled face, but like I do think that what Deshaun said was she did hear it, but I don't think that she wanted to give off that she was softening a little bit, but she didn't look happy. Like she looks pissed. Oh my god, she looks so angry. And she was definitely angry when Liana was voted out in the end. I wonder if she thought that Deshaun and Danny did that, which they definitely didn't. But I'm curious as to why she was so upset because it just kind of makes sense that she would have been out. Um, so what do you guys think about this tribal council race relations forum led by Jeff Probst, who then claims that these kind of discussions is like what Survivor is all about. This is what the game is about. And it's like, actually, yes, you're correct, Jeff. I don't know why then you need all these twists. So what do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, so a couple things. So I think Shan was upset because she's like, that's not the move. Like, you need to take out bigger people, and that's what it came across to me. But the whole thing overall, I mean, I was waiting for a cringe moment for like with something that was coming out of Jeff's mouth, and it didn't really happen for me. So I was like that it was led by the rest of them more so than Jeff really. And they all had their perspectives heard, and I think they all spoke well about it in like it was all done as appropriately as it could be, and I all felt like everyone was heard, and their message, the message came across, and and everything was explained really well. Leona just did a really great job with that too, like you had said. And I even appreciated Heather's like acknowledgement of her ignorance towards it, and she just like, oh, I didn't even know that was happening, or if that's a thing, because I don't experience that. So I can even appreciate that on some level too. But yeah, I mean, love seeing that kind of discussion on TV. I think it's so important. So and I like the fact that they even brought up like, I was like, well, people at home are like, I just want to watch Survivor, like I don't want to see this, but why is it
I
important?
love that
And
she
they
mentioned
explain
that,
it.
but so many people say that and be like,
Yeah.
why do we have these big conversations? It's just a game. It's just Survivor. It's like, it's not.
It's a reflection of the outside world and what's happening, and it's been proven time and time again. So I'm glad that was all explained. I'm glad that was done so well. Everyone did a really good job speaking on that behalf, and it was like raw, emotional, honest, and just the truth, and it needed to be said. So I really enjoyed that conversation here.
I did too, but I would have loved to hear from Erica or Ricard, who are two other POCs, and their opinions weren't really brought forward from Jeff as long. Like, I mean, I know it was edited, but we heard from Heather, we hear from Xander. I'm like, I'd rather hear from Erica and Ricard and their perspectives about playing as the only of the like. I don't know. I would have just loved to hear from each person about their take
Absolutely.
on what's happening.
I think it was more of a
Absolutely.
like, you know, they were talking and focusing on Black contestants,
Yeah.
as well as, I mean, Liana did mention POC
POC.
briefly and talked about that briefly, but it was, it's more about the movement. And so and that acknowledgement and stuff. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just I had a lot of like my mind, goes to like the shots and stuff too, right? And had a lot of establishing shots more so than normal, and just kind of seeing that diversity there.
Mhm.
And did it feel odd? No, it felt right. Like that's our
Mhm.
world that we live in, So seeing everyone represented, and I mean, not everyone, but I mean, just like having some representation and diversity, it felt appropriate. So yeah, it was good to kind of see that.
I definitely enjoyed the conversation. I was annoyed by the Jeff kind of taking credit for it. Um, like the music was swelling and Jeff is just like nodding, and then him coming in really like. I mean, I appreciate that it being a platform and an opportunity to have these discussions, absolutely, but I don't know if his main objective is to have these conversations, because if he did, he would just kind of leave the game alone a little bit, because this is what we watch for, is seeing people under these extreme circumstances and how they are able to use themselves to maneuver in this game that we love, not how they thwart twists. We want to see how like if they didn't turn against each other, as there would have been no drama, right? Like it's seeing this internal conflict with these characters, with Deshaun, with even Shan was like, do I turn on Deshaun? Like this is what is interesting, is seeing people struggle with the basic game, not struggling on whether or not they're going to flip a coin. I want to struggle on whether they're going to stab somebody in the back that is from their culture and like potentially be like looked down upon from society. Like that's interesting to me. Anyways, I could be biased, but hopefully that discussion shows Jeff. I know it doesn't change 42, but maybe the reaction that it happens on the internet, etc., from this particular episode, hopefully it will give them a better perspective of what we're looking for in a show, because the two shows that were kind of twists free, they were probably the best two episodes of the season, and they both heavily talked about race, which I found was very fascinating and very compelling. It was so compelling.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we going to do for 25 minutes? So like, oh God, what are we going to talk about? And like, it was great. I wasn't bored at all. I was just getting worried for Sean, but I wasn't
And it
bored.
wasn't a live tribal, so that was great too.
I
There was
don't
no
want a live
like
tribal. Don't like it. So that's pretty much everything that happened this episode. I wrote down Jeff is salivating over these moments. He was just like loving it. Very happy that Deshaun stayed there. I'm not necessarily happy that Liana left, but if
But like, who do you want to see play more, Liana or Deshaun? Like Deshaun's.
I want Deshaun to play more, 100%.
No,
So
yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any other thoughts here in the chat? You guys, what do you guys think? Anything else left to be said?
How many episodes do we have left?
Two.
Two?
Next week, and then the 3-hour finale.
Holy crap.
So the Hangout Room says the smart thing to do is to take out Ricard and Xander. Yep. They have a really high probability of winning. Actually, everybody's has, except for Heather, I could see a decent argument for them to win.
I mean, Danny's wanted Ricard for the last 2 rounds, so
I don't know. Look, this is also the time to look at the jury, and I don't know if anyone will reward Xander $1 million. I don't think this jury would.
I wouldn't, just because of his age, to be honest. Like, I know that his gameplay was great. I know you would. I wouldn't, though. I wouldn't give a 21-year-old $1 million.
Against all odds, he's made it to the end with like with an idol in his pocket that he hasn't had to use. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, how could you not reward that? I would. I'm sorry, I would.
I believe you, and I don't care if you do whatever you want.
Do not
Liana Deshawn, I mean. So what did you say? Oh, your money is on Jojo? What do you mean?
Jojo's winning this season.
Liana is greater than Deshawn? Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, I don't know. They're both, I like them both for different reasons. Liana wasn't the greatest game player.
Sorry, strategy-wise, it's like Deshaun has strategy and is playing, and I'm more interested in seeing what he's doing.
Yeah, me too.
So that's what it comes down to for me, is who's playing harder and more.
and Liana was in some good positions where she could have done some good damage or set herself up a little bit better. And so I'm upset that she wasn't able to utilize the spot that she was in to do better. I think that she could have avoided all of this. And I think she could have gotten to the end.
I have a question for us, and I'll start with my answer. But outside of our drafts, who are you rooting for? So outside of Danny, for me, I'm actually like Team Erica right now
I
because
can
I'm
get
like
behind you, America.
because she's like sneaking her way there and doing this stuff in Canadian. You know, I'm feeling it. I like it. I'm looking forward to seeing what she comes up with next.
Well, and Jelly Donut says, I wouldn't vote Xander. I can't stand when underdogs win, like Nick, Ben, Chris. Ugh. Did you like when Chris Underwood won, Jonathan? Hated that.
No.
Against all odds, he was on Extinction Island, day 11. He came back, win the game.
Yeah, but this is,
Won the idol, use the idol, like whatever he did with the idol. That was a big
there's
thing.
a difference
He had
because I think
to.
Xander was so easy. Like, there's been so many opportunities for people to turn on him, and they just haven't. And it's like, what are you waiting for? And I don't like rewarding that kind of behavior of just not, you know, doing what is so clearly needs to be done, and that's taking Xander out. So I don't know. Anyway, I hope Erica and Danny make it to the end. That's what I'm going to say right now.
I like that. I really do like pretty much everybody. The only two maybe I wouldn't care for that much as a winner. I'm not down with Xander being the representative for this entire season. I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I want him to be the face of 41. Heather, I don't want her to be the face of 41 personally.
Agreed.
Everyone else, I would be happy for them to be representing the season. And if I were just going to go for a woman to win, of course, like I think Erica would be an awesome winner. She definitely, you know, went from somebody that was, they were going to throw the challenge to take out to be a contender and actually calling the shots and making moves, being the swing vote. If she can maintain that position, I can definitely get behind her winning. If she can get to the end, I think that she can get my vote because she would be going against odds for sure. If she gets there. So
yeah,
I can get behind Erica. On the draft.
I only want 3 people to win. And those 3 people are
Erica.
Okay, I'll put them in order. Number
Erica,
1,
Ricard, and
Deshawn. Those are my 3. Danny,
I love them too.
Danny's the first time, it was the first episode that I was like, oh, I like Danny, like seeing photos of his baby and his life and his wife. Like, I loved all that. But I think he's really cute and sweet and has a good social game.
What if he goes on a winning streak like some of the other winners that was just mentioned?
There's no strategy for me.
Yeah, you're right. There isn't. There hasn't really been. It's very like, this is who I want out. Let's do it. I mean, he's worked with alliances. He's done everything right. But at the same time, there needs to be a little bit more of like thinking ahead. And he hasn't really done that. Whereas those 3 that you've mentioned, I have all, you know, had almost been taken out and kind of, you know, outlasted and outwitted and have come up with their own plans too. So I agree. I mean, yeah.
And he's a millionaire.
Do we know that, or are we just assuming that?
I'm just assuming. He was an NFL person.
Yeah, you have
but I'll do some digging and see if I can find out his financial records. His net worth. So the Hangout Room says, yes, Erica is working it. I love it. Yes, I do love that she's really picked up her game. Jelly Donut says, Ben will always be my least favorite winner. Idol after idol after idol. My heart literally shattered when he won. I wasn't a fan.
Mine, I don't know if I've reacted away when Chrissy was the win was stolen from her.
Oh, with the final 4. Oh my God. Yes. And she got taken to final 2.
No, she took Ryan to final 3, and then Ben won fire making to get to final 3 and then beat her. And she won not the record. She tied the record for most immunities won in a season. Like, unreal.
I wanted Chrissy to win big time. I remember that. I remember not liking him. Yeah, that was definitely not the way I'd like a season to end for sure. So I think that we all think, when we all think back on the season, we'll think of Queen Shan. Absolutely. Shan was 41. And I just can't imagine Xander being the face of Shan's season. You know what I mean? Like it just no, I won't. I can't stand by it, Jonathan. I'm sorry, I can't.
I'm saying if I was a player, I would vote for him. I don't want him to win. I would just look at it as like an underdog perspective, and I would think that he's overcome so much. I think, but I don't want him to win.
Whoa, the hangout room says my least favorite winner was Michelle. At the time, I wasn't that excited about Michelle. I wanted Aubrey to win. But since then, I'm really enjoying Michelle. She love her on the challenge. I like her as a player, and as a person. So I'm kind of eased up on that. But that season, I was preferring Aubrey. Jojo, you had a reaction?
She's played all 39 days.
Twice. Yeah.
And I think I think during the set my first rewatch of her season, I appreciated her way more. But I wanted Audrey to win as well.
Aubrey. I could literally vent about Ben for hours, the definition of production rigging a season because they loved a certain player. I know it's really distasteful when they do that. Hi, Will. So horrible move by Danny, Deshawn, and Erica and Xander Erica and Xander are going to cruise to final 3 now. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think that what I've learned so far about this particular season is what I think is going to happen doesn't necessarily happen. I haven't been right all the time. It hasn't been predictable. People sticking together hasn't really happened. Like I thought that there was no way that they were going to turn on Shan at that point, and they did. Like I just feel that there's so many times where I've been wrong that I don't know if this is for sure that a horrible move for Danny and Deshawn. I don't know for sure. It looks that way, but I don't know for sure. What do you guys think? Do you think it's terrible for Danny and Deshawn?
If they're going to take out one of the 3, and they know, as long as it's not you. So I mean, that's better that it's you're lesser of a threat with 3 versus 2 versus 3. So I mean, if you were talking about taking out Shan and breaking up the foursome, did I think that was a bad move? I mean, I don't know. I believe you can reinvent and work within certain things. And Shan needed to go because such a big threat, but maybe not doing it that way. Maybe doing it the next round or something when you had lesser numbers on the other side, perhaps, or just not letting it be Ricard's plan, perhaps, and just I don't know. It could have been a bad move for them.
But the whole thing, though, was the fact that Shan was there. They're going to retaliate by going after Deshawn. So that's what they were also stopping. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
It's hard. I mean, it's one of those things where you'll see how it turns out, and then you're like, okay, well.
Would Deshawn have go out instead of Shan? You know what I mean? Like, and would that have been a better move? Like, I don't know. So he saved himself for 2 weeks at least, if like last week was supposed to be the time that he left.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't even know how she made it to the challenge. Oh, Michelle? Michelle's great. Michelle Fitzgerald is actually great. She's pretty good at challenges. She has a pretty good social game. I think she's under-respected for sure.
She did well. So if she comes back on as more of a less of rookie and more of a, experienced challenge player.
She could have done well if she had better rookies to work with.
And if Michelle made it to the end of a season, I think she would have a great chance of winning the challenge.
Oh, yeah, the final? Yeah, I think so. So the hangout room says, yes, Shan is the winner in my world. Yes, Shan definitely is going to be the most popular player out of this season. Winchell Fitzmillionaire. Is that what we're calling her? Your least favorite?
Winchell Fitzmillionaire.
I don't know what that means.
Michelle Fitzgerald.
No, I get that, but I wasn't sure if that's like a show that's like somebody saying it. I don't know. Anyways.
That's her
yes, I did like as a person, not a player. I thought she was great on the challenge this season. Sari and Russell are easily the best never to win. Jelly Donut. Jelly Donut. Russell? You're putting Russell next to Sari, who I think is the best to never actually win. I'm not a Russell fan. Jelly Donut. Jelly. Jelly, like, oh my god, I can go on a rant about Russell. He was so bad about like the black players working together and like about it being like it's not about that. So he's exactly who Liana was talking about, where people don't want to watch these social issues on Survivor. Anyways, he had this whole long rant about how it's racist that they got together and were forming an alliance. It was really annoying. Yeah, right. I'm not a fan. Okay, they did Shan dirty though. Apparently she had medical issue and was medical all day, so she couldn't strategize the days that she was voted out. I didn't hear that.
I watched a video where she talked about that. She literally got back to camp 10 minutes before tribal and was like out of it the entire time. She was like, I just wasn't there. Like I literally, my brain wasn't there. I wasn't there. I just thought everyone was like, yeah, we'll do Erica. Okay, that's happening.
Well, I mean, we talk about luck, and that's unlucky for her that she got sick and she wasn't able to strategize the day that they took that opportunity to take her out. Like, that's what either of us would have done the same thing. Be like, she can't retaliate. Like, this might be the time where her hands are tied behind her back. Like, let's do it. It's kind of like if they had the poo burrito, right? It's like,
there you go.
Let's take them out.
The poo.
Use the, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, people are like, what is she talking about? Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Okay, so Jelly is well aware Russell is complete trash, but he was a good player 10 years ago.
He was good to watch as being like
to the end.
As being like a chaotic kind of element to like just kind of watch. As a human being, right. I mean, but just to watch, I could see like, you know, I enjoyed watching him at the time because I was like, oh, this is a chaotic player who's willing to do anything, flip things, turn on people, whatever. So, you know, I understand that element of it for sure.
He stressed me out though. I was just like always on edge. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I could live with him. It'd be so stressful. But he definitely got to the end multiple times. So if we're looking at people that have played all 39 days, he's done it a few times. So I can give him props for that, but
and
I can't consider him to be the best, though.
And I always think if you've won it, if you've made it to the end, whatever your accomplishments are, at the end of the day, you've done it. So, you know, winners we may not hate, we may enjoy, we might feel neither way about them, but at the end of the day, they've won. So I can't take that away from them. So congratulations on that aspect of it. Definitely ones that I can appreciate more than others, though. So.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, gents, for having this little combo with me today and everybody in the chat room. Much appreciated all your intel and your insights on this. Actually, I think it's a great season, even with all these twists. Like the players prevail. And I have to just like have faith that the players will overcome any garbage that production is throwing at them, and their stories and how great characters, human beings, the diversity that's being represented here in the season will prevail, because they've been doing it so far. So do you think there's any more twists coming?
An idol next week.
Oh, right. Okay, so there's gonna be an idol, and there's going to be Xander's idol, and there's going to be immunity idol.
The twist is they all end up on Big Brother next year.
I don't mind that, to be honest. I like watching people that have played some sort of reality game on another reality game. I'm usually down, except for Big Brother going to the challenge. Well, thanks everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you're watching this after, please like this video. And what questions should we ask the people? What do we want to know?
Who's the final three?
Yes, who is your ideal final three? So we already heard Jojo. So Jojo's was Ricard, Deshawn, and Erica, correct?
No, my ideal final three would be Erica, Heather, Xander, for Erica to get her win.
For the win. Okay.
Yeah, just for the win.
Jonathan?
I mean, depending on what your reasons are, but Danny because he's in my draft, Erica because I want to see her win, and I think, although Ricard really deserves it too, do I want to go with Deshawn? I'm going to go with Ricard.
Definitely Ricard deserves it, but I'm just going to stick with my three players that I still have intact. I would love for them to be the final three, and I think it would be a decent final three as well.
With my draft that's still there.
which consists of Deshaun, Erica, and Xander. Have all three of them still left. So if they were the final three, I think it would be very impressive. And you guys would have to like give me something for that, like a new computer. That's how I get my new computer, is from like having the final three.
Here.
Thank
you.
you. Well, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys at 9:30, where Jonathan and I will watch All Stars season 2, episode 4. We'll watch that live together, and we can have a little chat afterwards. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.